Now let's move to Article 368. Article 368 as it originally stood. Okay. As it originally stood, the heading read the procedure for amendment of Constitution. Much of energy in IC Golaknath was spent in tracing out what was the source of power to amend, because 368 only started with the heading procedure for amendment. Now that was rectified later on. Secondly, as Justice Hidayatullah had advised the government and IC Golaknath, not the government, as it has advised the legislature, that look, if you wanted to exclude 13 sub clause 2 from a 368 amendment, you just need to clarify that. So that they have also done. Okay, that any amendment made under Article 368 would not be the subject of 13 sub clause 2. Now, keeping that in backdrop, let's see what original 368 was, how it was interpreted in IC Golaknath, and how it will travel. Okay, what question would arise in Keshanan Bhati? Whether it would be a question of power being provided under 368, or what would be the extent of power. 368 in Keshanan Bhati, okay, revolves mostly on the concept that whether federal structure can be disturbed by resorting to amendment. So how that reasoning would develop, okay, is what would be clear in part 3. Article 368, as it originally enacted, okay, it read, an amendment to this constitution may be initiated only by an introduction of a bill for the purpose in either house. Now you will recollect that in Shankari Prasad, which was the first amendment case, there was a provisional legislature at that point of time. Okay, so parliament was not the first. One of the challenge was that's because you don't have a parliament, the bill itself has not originated. So the bill would originate in either house and it could be passed by majority. Now there are certain bills which can be passed by majority, and then there are certain which would require ratification of the state. Now, what is ratification of the state? Where it is provided, we'll see that. Ratification of the state, okay. Article 54, 55, 73, 162, 241 are the ones that would require ratification by the state. Then chapter 4, okay, this would be judiciary. High Court and Supreme Court are included, not the subordinate judiciary. Then any list in 7th schedule, if that is to be altered, okay, like if union list is to be uh, enlarged, then that would erode on state list power. So therefore, you'll have to seek ratification from them. Then representation of states in parliament, that's one thing. Then the proviso of this article, provisions of this article, that is 368. The amendment shall also require to be ratified by the legislature of not less than one half of the states specified in parts A and B. Now, this part A and B existed originally, that has been removed now. It will be noticed that Article 368 is contained in a separate part, and the heading is Amendment of the Constitution. But the marginal note reads as Procedure for Amendment of the Constitution. The expression amendment of the Constitution is not defined or expanded in any manner. Although in other parts of the Constitution, the word amend or amendment has, as will be pointed out later, been expanded. In some parts, they have been clearly a narrow meaning. The proviso throws some light on the problem. First, it uses the expression if such amendment seeks to make any change in. It does not add the word change of or omit in. Okay. And says seek to change instead of expression seeks to make any changes in. Then, so what basically the court is toying up with the idea that what amendment of constitution actually means, whether it's a narrow concept or whether it's an enlarged, expanded concept. Then what is Article 54? President shall be elected. Okay, 55 prescribes manner of election. So why are Article 52 and 53 not mentioned in the proviso to Article 368? If the intention of the state, okay, would have been to say that federal structure of the country. So these actually are, you'll find a paragraph where the court says that these are all articles which relate to federal structure, like 50 para, I'm reading paragraph 52, where it states that union judiciary and high courts are included. Okay. In Article 368, 53 says that the analysis of provision A and B, that is the President and Union Judiciary. The proviso to Article 368 shows that the reasons for including certain articles and including certain others from the proviso was not that all articles dealing with federal structure or status of states have been selected. So 368 proviso does not necessarily include only subjects which touch to federal structure. There are other articles like uh, provided in proviso A and B, okay, which have been selected. Clause C of the proviso mentions the list of seven schedule, and D mentions representation of states in parliament. If these two are to be altered, you'll see gratification. Okay. So clauses C, D, and E can rightly say to involve federal structure and the rights of state. What again is remarkable is that fundamental rights are not included in the proviso. So now you have two tier of amendment procedure under original 368. Firstly, you can amend by majority. Secondly, you can seek ratification of the state, half a number of state, for A, B, C, D clauses provided in the proviso. But that proviso did not include fundamental rights. So what Supreme Court is posing a question is that why it's not included? If you have provided a proviso to go and seek concurrence of the half the number of legislature in amendment of constitution on those aspects, why did not you include fundamental rights in it? Were not the state interested in the fundamental rights of the people? The omission may perhaps be understandable because of the express provision of Article 13 subclause 2, which provided that the state shall not make any law which takes away or abridges the rights conferred by Part 3, and any law made in contravention of this clause shall to the extent. So the court says all right because it was not made because you had a prohibition in 13 subclause 2, but no law or no amendment as a law could be made by altering fundamental rights. In construing the expression amendment of this constitution, now we'll stop over here and we'll resume again.